My biggest secret I have to tell you. Hi. All you need to know about me is that I'm currently almost 14 and a female. One day I was with my older sister at a festival, and we went to a psychic palm reader. And my sister went first, and according to hers, it went very well, and she had a great reading. Now when I went in, the lady touched my hands and jolted back. I was scared, but she seemed terrified of what she had just noticed. She started chanting out the number 14 over and over, and then she started trying to get some words out of it. I was scared and trying to help her. She said, and I quote, "Dark, something dark, window 14, him 14, no, dark, ZMSJ, beach, name." I was shaking her to make her come out of it, and when she did, she sprung straight into action, writing down her phone number and address of her shop, and told me to come there before my 14th birthday, so she could help. For a while I just thought she was insane, and it was a scam. Then I decided to call her, and the phone line said that it was disconnected. So I looked up her shop, and it is not a thing. It's like she completely disappeared off the face of the earth. That's when I looked back at what she said, and I remembered she said window, and immediately I thought of one thing. When I was about 11 years old, I had a thing happen to my window when I was in my room that I remember my dad telling me to shut my window and lock it because it started to get cold outside, and I did as he said. But later that night, I woke up to being really cold. I looked over in my window, and it has been unlocked and lifted just slightly, but nothing else happened that night. I shut the window, locked it, and I woke up in the morning. It was still locked. And then, my 12th birthday, the same thing happened, but the window was just a little bit more open. That happened twice that night, before I woke up in the next morning. But then, my 13th birthday happened. I had remembered that my window opens on my birthday sometimes, which I thought was just some weird coincidence. So that night, I had a couple of friends over, and we and my parents all watched a movie outside the living room. But in the middle of watching a movie, we heard a loud crack come from my room. Immediately my dad ran into there to see what happened, and he just walked in and said, "What the heck?" I followed him in there. When I looked at the window, I was a little scared to see that there had been a large crack in the middle of the top part of my window. And the window was completely open, and the screen was popped out, and it had fallen onto the ground outside. We checked everywhere that night, inside the house and outside. There was no sign of forced entry. No one had been there. The window just cracked open, and the screen had popped out. And now, to hear that the palm reader said something about my being aware of being 14, I was so scared. I mean, how could she have known that? The scary part was the fact that she was scared of me. But just this experience isn't why I decided to write this. It was because I went to the fair a few days ago, and I went to a tarot card reader with my older sister again, and she heard everything my tarot card reader said. That I would be going somewhere soon. I didn't know, but it wasn't really my decision, and that something very dark would happen to me. And she said that it would happen very soon. My birthday is also very soon. I was immediately scared of what that could have meant, but she also said that I would meet someone, a boy. He would make my life better. He would take me somewhere that I would feel free. But she did say that I would never fall in love with him until I really saw who he was. She said that he would be a cocky and full of himself and mean and just overall not a good person. But then I would see the real him and fall in love even though no one would even know about it. Which didn't make any sense to me. The night after I got back, in this dream I was running through the woods. And I was happy. I was running through the woods completely happy, and someone was there running with me. Even though I couldn't see them, I didn't see who it was. And after I had run for a while, I saw a beach that I recognized. I don't know where from, and I ran to the beach, and sat next to me was a rock, and engraved on that rock was the name Zeta, which for some reason I knew was the first name in the initials of ZMSJ, which were the initials of the thing the palm reader had said. Then that's when I woke up. I had a dream the next night where I could tell that I was younger. And I was in a small beach house on a small deserted island, not much bigger than the house itself. And I walked up to a mirror and looked at myself. I looked just like me, but with no memory of even being me. I'll admit, I looked a little more muscular and a little more roughed up. But then I got angry at something for some reason. And when I looked back at myself, my soft green eyes turned ice blue for just a second, and then I woke up. But after that dream, I'm scared to sleep tonight, and also my birthday is coming up in less than a month, and I don't know what to expect. So there you go. My story, if literally anyone has read this far. I just needed to put it out there, somewhere, because I'm scared. Spirit, universal signs, or final destination. It's 9/11/2018 at 10:30 a.m., and I'm having the most weird day of my life. But this weirdness isn't just affecting me. My boyfriend is also having an off, weird, and unsettling day as well. We woke up between 5:30 to 6 a.m., not on purpose. But this isn't an odd occurrence for us to wake up early. I have a kidney disease, so when the pain is high, I cannot sleep. He usually stays up with me until I feel better. Nothing weird started happening until around 7 or 8 a.m. He goes off in a trance, and I knew he had seen something that had freaked him out. I asked him what he had seen, and he replied, "Thought I seen a white light go from the kitchen door to the bathroom door, but my eyes were probably playing tricks on me." I had replied to that with a simple, "You're tired. Go get some sleep." But once he's awake for good. Some time goes by and I see a white, round, and bright light that resembles an orb fly from the kitchen to the bathroom. I got freaked out and expressed to him what I had seen. We sat for a little bit being spooked. We decided to play with an Ouija board. Wonderful idea, I know. Nothing happened. It didn't work. Or did it? We started hearing knocks and threes in our kitchen. Went to investigate. Nothing. Appeared normal. It happened 3 times. Hasn't happened since. This was 8:38 a.m. After this happened, my boyfriend randomly says, "Oh, today is 9/11," and we go on discussing that topic a little bit. Then we decided to Google signs of ghosts in house. Another wonderful idea. And the signs seemed true. For us, at the moment. Knocks, orbs, etc. Then I stumbled across pages like, "Signs a spirit is trying to communicate with you. When will you die? And how will you die? Quiz." I clicked every page, and, well, here's my discoveries. Spirit communication. Sending certain numbers or words. Radio stations. Light bulbs going out frequently, which doesn't happen all the time at our house. Death date. Took the quiz. Got a long time before I die. Year 2069. The boyfriend got 2092. No, we do not believe in this. Did it merely for shits and giggles. How will I die? I got car accident and he got in his sleep from old age. Again, do not believe in this, but it does have significance to my story. Nothing else happens weird. I'm still feeling sick and pain, but it's time for him to work. I drive him to work because he can't drive at the moment. This is where our day gets weirder. Like, guys, I'm talking the feeling of final destination. We keep hitting all red lights. Nothing unusual though, except he goes to turn on the radio. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Funny coincidence? We laughed it off and continued our car ride. I take the exit to the interstate and he flips radio stations. Interstate driving. Okay, not funny anymore. We started getting spooked. Talk about the spirit communicating through radio stations. We get on the interstate and this van pulls out in front of me with a huge red or white sign that read September 11th, 2001. Remember how I was discussing 9/11, today's date? Strange, I tell him. I'm having anxiety. I slow down, drive with more caution than usual. He flips radio stations. I'm feeling anxious. And we both get even more spooked. Turn off the radio. Drove past this loud sound, construction zone, and it freaked me out. Felt more louder than usual. And I literally felt like I was in Final Destination. Rolled up my windows and we discussed being spooked. Reached his work. Nothing else happened. He's there currently. I don't work until 6:45 p.m., so I'm currently home while writing this. I feel I'm being watched. I have heard the creaking of the floor where you have to stand to make it creak, and I have the feeling of something bad is going to happen. I'll keep updated in comments, but I wanted this day documented. I also want to know if anyone has this type of stuff going on to them, especially the radio stations. I'm a big believer in universal signs, but now I'm debating whether a spirit is trying to contact me. What do you think? Creepy grocery guy. Little backstory, I was 16 when this happened, and I was in excellent physical shape. I'm now 17. The diner I worked at was on the side of a road and was next to a gas station that we shared car parks with. The diner had an odd setup to get to the back bins and the storeroom. You had to go through a big metal door, and that was at the back of the kitchen. The diner I worked at also had a fresh produce supplier that delivered most days early in the morning, and they had a new delivery boy. I'll call him Billy. He had been with them for around 2 months. He was a hot topic between the female employees, as he was extremely good looking, but seemed to be a loner. I don't know for sure, but I think he was around 18 or 19. I'd spoken to him before, and he had asked me for my number once, but I politely said I don't give it out. I was 3 months into my first paying job at a local diner working as a waitress when this happened, and on this particular day, I was asked to stay on and work the night shift with a female colleague that I was familiar with. I didn't mind, as I saw it as an opportunity for extra cash. It was around 12:30 a.m. when the last family eating left. So it was up to me, the other female waitress aged 18, and the male chef, who I believe was around the age of 24, to clean and lock the place up, as the owners were on vacation. I decided to take the trash to the bins out back, as I was too tired to do anything else like sweep up or clean the tables. To this day, I regret being lazy. To get back to the bins, you have to go through the kitchen, and then through a big heavy metal door, which I was okay about doing as I've done it many times before. But once I got out, I forgot that the hinge where the door clips to the wall was broken, and it slipped and closed naturally. I was angry as I'd have to walk around the whole diner to get back in through the front door. As I stretched up to throw the bag in the bin, I heard a noise. It sounded like a grunt, and it kind of spooked me. But I put it down to my imagination. But then I heard it again, and it was coming from the storeroom. Me, being my stupid Dora the Explorer-ass self, poked my head into the storeroom. and at the beginning I saw nothing. But out of the corner of my eye, I caught something moving very slowly toward me, and as my eyes adjusted, it was Billy, the grocery boy. And he was holding his trainers in one hand. Once he saw I noticed him, he froze. I was trying to think through every logical explanation for why he would be in the storeroom at this time. But I got interrupted by Billy stuttering, I'm just putting your delivery in here. My van broke down. That's why I'm so late. This frightened me to the core, as my boss told me she had not made any orders, as we needed to use up old stock first. And then it clicked. He had no shoes on. He was trying to sneak up on me. We just stared at each other, and I muttered, "Oh, that's okay. I'm going inside now. Shut the door when you're done." As I felt if I questioned why he was there, he would get hostile, and the situation for me would become even worse. I proceeded to back away, still facing him, until I was near the gate that opened into the car park. "The kitchen door's shut, silly." He laughed slightly. I've never felt so patronized in my life. He was talking to me as if I was a child that he was correcting. "Oh yeah, ha ha ha, looks like I'll have to go the long way." I joked about it as I could feel my situation getting worse. He just had an expression that reminded me of that cat from Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, just shut the door when you're done. Bye." I shout out before turning around and opening the gate. My whole body froze when I felt a vice grip on my wrist. Now that I think of it, I'm surprised he didn't break it. By instinct, I started tugging my arm away and shouted at him something like, "Dude, what the fuck? Get off me." But that only seemed to make it worse, and it was almost like he loved to see me struggle. "Stop resisting me," he said in a flat tone as he used his other hand to try and pull my skirt down. I think all my fear turned into fight as I began kicking and punching the right side of his face. I'm about 5'8", and he is probably around 6'2". I think I poked him in the eye with one of the fake nails I had on, and he instantly let go and started cussing very loud. I took my chance and bolted out of the gate and into the car park, which was empty, a part of one car parked in the gas station at a pump. I looked closer. Inside was occupied before I ran toward it. I looked back at the gate and saw Billy running straight at me, calling and shouting things like, "I knew you were a bad girl," and "Get back here, you stupid slut." The loud shouting seemed to get attention of the car. And to my surprise, it was the family that had left 10 minutes before. Once I reached the car, they were all standing outside and looked confused until they saw Billy running towards us. The father and the son stood in front of me and told him to calm down or they'll call the cops. This just seemed to make Billy worse. He started hissing at them and jumped at me before he could grab me. The father grabbed him and pushed him so hard and he fell to the ground. We all just stared at him while he got up off the floor and dusted himself off. "You really should have given me your number." He just nodded his head at me like he was scolding a child. All the fear I was keeping in just came out and I began sobbing hysterically into the mother's chest. The older brother started to cuss Billy out and push him away from all of us. "I like the way you fight me." He smirked at me and turned around and started walking towards the road, the brother following him to make sure he left. When the cops arrived, we went into the diner and I gave a full statement and so did the family. It turns out the other waitress and the chef were cleaning with the radio on with full volume, so they couldn't hear me screaming. When my boss came back, she was told everything by the police, and we now have a new supplier. The kitchen door hinge is now fixed, and I no longer take the trash out at night. As we knew all of Billy's employers, the police paid them a visit, only to be told he quit 2 weeks prior, and the address he had given them was a block of abandoned apartments, and his number was disconnected, so nothing ever came of the police report. I am now dating the oldest brother of the Diner family. I am so thankful that they couldn't work their sat-nav, because I know I couldn't have outrun Billy to the entrance of the diner.